Hey guys, James here today and welcome back to another Sims 4 building video. Today we're making a converted loft, converted from an old factory looking place. Fairly small on a 20 by 15 here in Newcrest, so nothing too crazy with this one, you know, just easing back into doing a little bit more building again. Now I was sort of inspired to make this because I was walking around and I saw like this old, I guess it was an old factory looking building, and it kind of had like a little archway, and then in the middle, like basically it had like a courtyard in the middle of this factory where you'd obviously drop off trucks, and that would drop off deliveries. And I was like, that looks kind of cool. I want to build a house based on that. Obviously the scale of this is way smaller and this courtyard makes no sense, but I still think it looks kind of cool. So the idea is basically all of downstairs is kind of like still pretty like kind of like deliveries and garage kind of space, workshop space. That's kind of what the downstairs is. Then upstairs we converted the whole loft space into a nice sort of contemporary apartment, very industrial in style, because obviously it goes together well with the actual build itself. So that's what we're doing. So starting, and I really wanted the upstairs to be like really bright, really nice natural light coming in there as well. Also, I thought that was kind of cool, having that sort of little archway section there to the windows, kind of like maybe they'd extended it a bit there. Windows sort of were built there to sort of cover the area in, or something like that. I don't know, it looked kind of interesting, so I went along with it. And I took a little while actually trying to figure out how I wanted to do the roof. Obviously, there's like the stereotypical factory roofing where it's kind of like multiple half gables sort of like sitting next to each other, which you'll see in a second, which is eventually what I end up with. I'm trying to sort of figure out the best configuration, because a cool thing we can do with it is if we do these roofs and place them sort of in the right manner, we can actually put windows on the walls of the roofs, as you can see like right there. So that's kind of what I'm working on now, is getting those windows in there. And then of course I wanted you to actually be able to see through those windows from the build, and from inside see out through that way, but having the whole thing still inside. So if you build it in the correct way, you can cut out the flooring, allow the light to come through, and it all works kind of well in that sense. And then it worked out quite well. Anyway, we ended up with that little bit of extra roof there. A little bit of extra roof space, so that's why I put the sort of half wall around that. And I actually close in the half wall in a little bit. I use the sidewalk pieces from Get Famous. So in the Get Famous pack for the movie sets, they have like a sidewalk, and if you actually scale it down, move it up, you can actually use that as like a flat kind of roof piece that sort of just covers up the top of half walls, which is pretty cool. So that's what I use that one for. And like I said, I wanted this whole area to have loads of windows, lots of natural light. So there's loads of these big windows up the top to make the whole space really bright and really inviting. And that's kind of what I wanted the whole upstairs to be like. And I think it actually looks really cool in the end. It is very open plan. There's basically only a bedroom and a bathroom that are sort of cut off from the rest of the layout. Now down the bottom, originally I was trying to do kind of like maybe a little bit of almost like a shop front. Maybe it'd be like a factory outlet kind of shop front. I was trying to do it, but I couldn't get the right doors and windows that I wanted for the look. And then I was like, okay, let me try and figure out if I can get some stairs in here, because obviously we got to find out where we want the entrance to the house to be. So I was trying to figure that bit out. And in the end, I didn't do the storefront idea just because I couldn't get it to work just like quite right, which is a shame. But then I figured the stairs going right here was actually like the best spot, because it sort of just tucks away right there. It allows us to have a door right down the bottom where the archway is. And it sort of all fits in really nice and neatly. Now, I did want the whole interior to be renovated, very contemporary, industrial style. But obviously, because it is industrial, I wanted to have those sort of more raw elements, like that column that I put in just before that we've now gone past, but obviously very stylized in the sense and then in the way that it's sort of placed there. And there's a few of them around the place too. Like I could have just used a lot of like walls and well, not regular, but I guess more standard or simple columns. But I thought that was more of a statement to use this sort of big rounded, I guess almost pipe looking column, which is quite nice. And also these big wall braces from Get Famous are quite good. There's actually quite a few things from Get Famous that work really well for this style, those braces being one of them. Obviously I had to scale them down a little bit because they're made for the tallest walls, but they still work quite well in this medium wall height. So I sort of put a few of them around the place, and that's sort of how I went with that. Now the rest of this, I wanted the interior to be pretty much, like I said, pretty much done up. So a lot of the walls are just plain white, I guess probably would be like plastering or something, so you've sort of plastered over the walls, made it like very simple upstairs. But obviously I still wanted some elements of exposed brick around the place, so I went with that. And obviously pretty much, like I said, the whole downstairs is just brick. It's just a sort of workshop area, all that kind of stuff. And also I noticed how shiny a lot of these floors are. Like you can see there, like I was rotating the camera, so much of that flooring was like super shiny. Anyway, I decided on this sort of more gravelly texture in the end just because it didn't have that sheen to it. So I thought it looked a little bit better. Now this area down here, like it's just like the courtyard area. It's supposed to be for like deliveries and that kind of stuff. Obviously it's really small, so you wouldn't be able to drive very far into it. I did actually end up putting a sort of a ute in here, or like a pickup truck, if you will. Ute, U-T-E, spelling that out for people that that are from Australia, stands for utilitarian vehicle. No, utility vehicle. Maybe utilitarian. I don't know. Anyway, utility vehicle. That's what we call it in Australia. It's a ute. Get utes to it. Anyway, so I put that in there. It's currently sort of like backed all the way up in there, and then I was like looking at it. I'm like, oh man, I would hate to drive that truck in there. Like, it's reversed in doing that. Like it's really tight. Like I was like, just trying to get that in there would be so difficult. And then even trying to get out, like if you look at above, like the way you'd have to really precisely, I reckon you could do it, but it's really not worth it for like a little bit of a shorter walk. So I ended up moving it so it was like directly in line with the archway. And you can see I put in that garage door there as well, like sort of like painted sort of graffiti art wall, which I thought looked really cool actually. I really like the look of it. So yeah, you can see there I've moved the truck there, so it's right in front of it. So maybe they just reversed directly in. Thought that made a bit more sense. And it kind of also looks like then that area behind it with the garage door would be like a garage, would be a garage that you could also open up and go into that space there too. So I thought that made a bit more sense than having it sort of like so delicately backed into this other area. Like I don't know, it seemed like it would be a death sentence for that car or for that vehicle to then just be scratched up all over the place. Yeah, so here is where I was talking about using those sidewalks to create a little roof. Well, I'm doing it in a second. Here it is. So I sort of scale them down, move them up one by one, put them in here, and it actually works out really well. Because like I don't need to do this, but it means it just covers up that little area because it's not supposed to be open like that. It's not supposed to be random walls. I really want that to be like a solid piece is what it should look like. So that's sort of what I've done, and it sort of just caps it off nicely. In the past, I think I've used like tables, like dining tables to do that. I can't remember what build that was. It would have been years ago now, but that was another way that I did it before. But that was just a little bit better way to do it now. So I added an archway here. So this is actually sort of just open to the outside, which I figured is fine. It's like I said, just working areas. It's not supposed to be like all indoors and covered up and all that. It's like very much just workshop, lots of counters, sort of materials like gardening tools and all that. I mean, gardening tools probably don't make a lot of sense, but it's just something to put on the wall that at least fits in with the theme somewhat. Lots of signs everywhere, using that huge vent as well, which I don't know, could be like some sort of circuit breaker or something. I don't know. Not really. It looks nothing like it. I guess I probably could have got that one from City Living, maybe. It might have been in Debug or something. Anyway, just like a bunch of just random items that sort of just go in here that looks like it's being used as some sort of warehouse or I don't know. Just to fit the theme a little bit. Also get a woodworking table. So if that's your thing, you can come down here and do it. And then I leave most of that area empty there because if that's supposed to be like a garage that you could back your vehicle into, I sort of left it open. Using a few more of those columns here because obviously we have those two roofs there in the middle, and because of that there's actually a wall that goes across the middle, so I figured there should probably be some form of support there to that. It looks like it could be held up. Now, I was trying to figure out where to put the bathroom. I realized I didn't actually have enough room for it. So I sort of built an ensuite that sort of sticks out here a little bit. And then we blended into the rest of the build by using this sort of steel girders around the outside. Not these ones, we use the sort of get to work ones. So we sort of just stack these up together. And it sort of looks like it's all being, supported that way. And it sort of comes through here. I was actually trying to choose a window here for ages as well. Because I was trying to find a single window that went in the middle of the two tiles. Like a single tile window centered on two tiles. which I really wish that we could have windows just off the tiles, because it would be so much easier to like center them all the time. But anyway, in the end, I just went for the double windows. So there's very big windows there in that bathroom, that ensuite bathroom. Actually, quite a nice little one there, which I was quite happy with. I actually spent quite a little while here on this. I decided to actually completely modernize this section of the build. So using these giant windows. Of course, there's no single tile glass door either. And I wanted a single tile one because it fit in really, really well with those double windows. And then we had that column that sort of separated the door off. So it actually looks kind of nice from the inside, but from the outside, having that different height door looks so strange. So I put like a sign above it. I was like, I don't know, maybe that kind of works. So we went with a sign above it. And then this bathroom here, I decided to open up because we had those two little column sections that were actually closed off. So I decided to open up some of those things there and put like the shower and the door to the bathroom in that section there. It's actually something I've just realized that I need to fix, that I totally forgot about and totally spaced on until this point in time. So you can see I put that shower in that 2x1 section. I later on put a built-in wardrobe there and did not realize until watching this time-lapse back, and I just that's my bad. We'll fix that, don't worry. We'll go for a little tour at the end, we'll fix it then and change that up, because that's my bad. I totally forgot about it because originally I put the mirror there and I was like, you know what, the mirror would look better over the other side because there's like less space there. So and because I put this giant rug in the room as well, I thought the mirror would look better on the rug, and I was like, oh, let me put a wardrobe there. For some reason didn't click at all. Not at all, not in the slightest. Anyway, we'll fix that soon. So very simple furnishings, obviously all industrial, got these like darker wood tones, very almost minimalistic, like sort of furnishings in a way, like keeping it pretty simple, pretty small in size as well. Like that couch is very small, and it's got this sort of metal legs and all that, which I think look quite good and go quite well with the theme. So going along with that. And then so this whole area is really, really open, and we can't really put walls anywhere because we have those two big roofs above that are all open and have the windows. So we have to figure out other ways to furnish the space. And the kitchen, I did actually put one additional wall in just for the fridge. We could have had the fridge against no wall, but I thought it looked a bit strange. So I figured it kind of looked better just having a wall there than none at all. So that's what I did. And then I actually go along here with a bunch of shelves, and it just sort of gives it a little bit more detailing than just leaving it open, and get some little plants that are hanging down. Maybe you're growing some herbs for the kitchen to cook with and all that. That's kind of the idea behind that. And I didn't go too hard on furnishing the shelves or anything like that. I think it is just some books maybe on it, and that's kind of about it. So nothing much. Got the range hood there as well. Obviously the more industrial looking one. I did originally go for that big light up sort of modern one. But that I figured was probably a bit too much, and it was going too far in the wrong direction for this build. While it is obviously a modern contemporary build, it is very, very industrial in style. So doing anything that's too modern, it doesn't really go with the style. So we did a mixture of this sort of island counter and the dining table. I love doing this in some of the builds, having the sort of dining table coming off the island counters like that. I don't know, it's kind of cool. It's a nice little transition, sort of ties in with the space quite well. And you can see we've got all those big sort of pipe looking columns throughout the build, which I think like sort of blend in really, really well with it all. Obviously a lot of our fixtures and furnishings have a bunch of like metal throughout them as well, as a big theme of what we're trying to get in. Also the couch, I went for that big sort of concrete couch from, what is that, Dine Out? Is that Dine Out? No, what pack is that from? Spa Day? Spa Day would make more sense. Yeah, and then again, using the same sort of, the matching armchairs like from the sofa that we used in the bedroom to sort of furnish this place. You can see that this is a very, very stylized living space. If this is not your style, then you're probably not going to like. I would honestly love to live in a place like this. It's got these concrete floors, like polished concrete floors. I don't know. I think it looks really, really cool. I think it would be awesome. But it's definitely not everyone's style. But if this is yours, here you go. So you can download this on the gallery from my Origin ID, which is the Sim Supply. The same as my username here on YouTube, just all one word. You'll be able to find it there. I also always link them in the description down below. So if you check the description, there's a link to the download, so you can check it there. Also, these lights from Get Famous, actually really good for a build like this as well. They have that sort of quality, and you actually see some of those kind of stage lights in builds like this in the real world too, which is actually kind of cool. Outside, not a lot to do with landscaping, just a couple of fences, and that's pretty much it. But let's go have a tour now. So here we are in the game. This is basically what the little, I guess, converted factory looks like. And this was the original inspiration, having this sort of little interior courtyard space where you can sort of see through to the area in there. Got the truck in there. Very tight fit. I probably ideally would have wanted this one scale bigger, but when it is actually that big, it doesn't fit through this archway. So it had to be that size. Anyway, so that's in there. And this is the exterior here. We can sort of see into the little courtyard area here. I don't know. I thought it was a kind of a cool feature. This wall is effectively like, there's no point for it to be there other than it looks cool, and that's why it's there. I don't know. I think it all ties in really well. Like, you can see the living space in there. I think it looks super cool, like sort of looking through those windows, and then just like random fencing and just a lot of random sort of industrial stuff. But we're going to go into the sort of, whoops. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm lost. I'm going to go into the first person camera. And we're going to go down and have a look inside. Come inside. It's play school. So this is the courtyard area. Just that sort of painted garage door. A bunch of signs, fans, pipes. Anything that sort of seemed like it fit a workshop environment is kind of what we got down here. So nothing too special or anything like that. And then through here as well as just a few more workshop items. Actually, there's no, you know what? I've made a few mistakes in this build. There's no door to this area. I think that I didn't put one there because originally this door actually did loop all the way around because you could walk around, but now you can't. So I guess I'll put one over here. There you go, a little door into that space. So that goes through there. You know what? While we're here, let's fix this where, yeah, that's my bad. So we'll get rid of that. What we'll do instead, maybe we'll actually move this mirror over there. Hey guys, welcome to the build. And then we'll move maybe this over here as well with it. No, is that too busy now? Keep it over there. Keeping it very minimal, like not even any end tables. I actually really like it. It's super simple, but I think it actually really, really works for this particular build. Hey, welcome to the Let's Build. What one's going to look good in here? Probably this. Does it have a darker color to it? All right, that'll do. That'll work. That works out well. Okay, right. So let's go. Let's go here. Let's go back into the camera mode. We're going to go for the tour. I'm sorry about that. Sorry for the interlude. Let's go here. So you come in here. This is actually where the bin is for the house. We got this huge like industrial ceiling light hanging over it. I thought it was kind of cool because it's just this big roof. There's a bin there. So this is actually the entrance to the house. Like, you're already in the house at this point. What is... Man, this build, I'll tell you what. So half walls. If you've watched any of my recent videos, they are super glitchy. If I were to put... I think if I alter the wall at all... I think it's maybe this one. It's not going to do it now. It's like whenever you alter a half wall, it like depaints it all. Although now it's not doing it, so I don't know. Anyway, sorry for all the... It seems like this build is just not finished, and I feel bad about that. But hey, we're fixing it up, so it is finished. All right, so we come up the stairs. You come up here, come around. I got the brick stairs, which I thought looked quite well with this. Now, so this is what the roof looks like from the inside, which I actually think is really cool. Ideally, it would have been nice to be able to, you know, paint the walls of roofs differently from the exterior, because obviously we want bricks on the outside, but if we could have plastered the interior walls, it would have been cool. I mean, I still think it works. It makes the space feel huge. Like, look at this. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks really, really cool. If you're wondering what those little boxes are, that's actually the vents that we have on the outside. They sort of just clip through, but, you know. Oh, hello. Oh, that confused me so much. It was the mirror in this room. All right, so yeah, it makes the place feel a lot bigger. It's all open like that. So we got the bookcase there. We got the kitchen here off to the right, which I think is really awesome. I love these archways here, where it's the archways and then the windows. It seems like, I don't know, I've definitely seen stuff like this in older builds where they just have these brick archways for support, and then sort of on the other side is like a little hallway or like windows or something like that. We've got the windows there. This is actually a secondary bathroom that I was able to squeeze in. So that's here with a little toilet and a sink. Nice big windows right there. And then through this way, living space, which I think looks really, really nice. Like, it's so... It is simple. It is. It really is. But I think it works really well for this whole, like, build. I really, really like it. Like, look at this. I don't know. The aesthetic of this place is beautiful. Wish we could change the color of that. It's bluey gray thing. Bit strange, but anyway. All right. And then we're going to go into the bedroom, which we kind of already saw because I was... trying to fix the mistake that I made. Here's the bedroom, mirror over there, a few plants around the place. Through here to the ensuite bathroom, which comes through this little column space here, comes in here. It's small, like it's not, I guess, well, it's small in terms of the size, but I think it fits a lot in, and it feels really, really open because it's got these big windows. I love that mirror in the middle of the windows too, because when I put those in, I was like, I want the sink on this side, because if it's on this side, it sort of gets in the way of the doorway and all that. But we didn't have a lot of room for the mirror, because that's why I was talking about how I was trying to get the single window to fit in the middle of these, so that we would have room for a mirror. But putting that smaller one actually works out really, really well, and fits a space like super nicely. And then in here is the shower, which we almost rendered completely useless with the wardrobe, but we didn't, so it actually worked out quite well in the end. But yeah, that's the build. Like, it's not huge, it's a small build, but I had a lot of fun doing this, and I think the style is super nice. But if you want to download it, like I said, it's available up in my gallery. It's called Converted Loft, the sim supply on Origin. But thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time, and have an awesome day.